With friends like these, who needs extraterrestrials? Since I am forced to spend my time politicking and diplomacying amongst the parents in the school playground, while we all wait for our loved ones to be disgorged, monitoring whispers of swapped telephone numbers, watching for furtive exchanges of party invites. The stakes are very high. The defence of the realm of my daughter's development, no less. She may be responsible for electing who her playmates are inside. But here, out in the car park, favoured grace determines whom are players and whom are not. The little faces register nothing of the subterfuge occurring above their heads. But they cotton on. They are innately programmed to pick up and respond, for how could they fail not to? Their mothers with expressions like defeated Oscar nominees at awards time. To discover we, that is both my daughter and I, didn't merit an accolade. Of course it's who you know, darling. That bitch. I don't care that it was the first week of term, and her little spawn of Beelzebub didn't know any of the new kids. It should have been the whole class invited round to finger paint on her wallpaper, with chocolate birthday cake melted by hot little hands. Yeah? Well, you should have had the school calendar in mind when you were procreating, missus. You and your asinine black hand gang. With your prissy manicures and concealed inside leather gloves against the autumn chill. And the Rayburns, hardly harbouring milky eyes from the rheumy sun now, are they? More likely to filter out the wavelength of the rest of the whey-faced women, even as you cast disdainful darts from behind the embrasures. Walkman earphones for women who never go anywhere on foot, save the gym treadmill. In order to blot out our bromidic hum. Who do you take your direction from, I wonder? I half expect you to whisper down your cuff of your blouse to receive the holy orders of your mother's superior. The updated aloof gesture from your moisturised handlers. The latest affectation mandate from your fashionista wranglers. But then I realise how ridiculous you are in your black-clad sensory deprivation. Don't you realise the stark black glove contrast highlights the whole white envelope like a searchlight beam? If I was petty enough, I'd utilise black envelopes. Blend in unseen against the Coven's uniform. You wouldn't even have a clue it was taking place if I chose not to invite you and your brat. Or maybe I'd flaunt it, rub it in your face, wear white gloves, like some photographic inversion of everything you are. Emboss black invites to a kid's party. How apposite. Caught myself again at it today. Been trailing here long enough to put the names to the faces to the aspects of the mothers. Trace the parabolas of shed scales as children cast themselves from the line snaked behind the teacher, and puff and distend themselves into paroxysms of burst relief. I follow the fallout. Trace the trajectories of unleashed ground-to-air arms flung out for a hug. I plot the tear-stained cheeks to the eczematous worry beads of maternal fingers. I match a fresh-faced, ruddy-cheeked visage to the cracked-veined bucolic alcoholic, rather than the emulsified rouge prominence and beacon-red lipstick of the mother flushed with church-mongering sociability. Hers is the pigtail, pierced-eared princess, hewed from head-girl material. Hard on the heels of the girl with tight braids and miniature briefcase, demurely marching up towards her own spruced mother, to receive another dose of middle management incentives and exhortations. I almost overlooked the bland formlessness of a mother and daughter pair, who describe one another fully in their inimitable non-descriptiveness. The pair who seemingly didn't feel it necessary to comment on school, one another, or even life itself, as they trudge mutely off. Their plastic souls kiss-sucking the playground tarmac as redundant punctuation to their non-conversation. And so it goes on. Won't prejudge my daughter, but sure as hell will anybody else's. It's not big or clever, but it does answer a few queries, without me having to undergo the unpleasantries of actually talking to any of these women.